Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest issue of Comic Book Gentlemen, the podcast where we use our decades of being giant nerds to discuss the most divisive issues in the fandom. I'm your host, Greg, joined by my constant co-host, Dave. Dave, how's it going?
Really well.
That's great to hear.
I went to a fandom.
Wow, you went to a fandom. That's awesome.
So,
starting off the year,
comics.
Good. Yeah. Starting off. What was a highlight for the fandom for you?
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis?
Well, like highlight meeting Andy Serkis. Highlight of like getting something. I got an Uncanny X-Men issue 101.
Okay.
Graded.
Ooh.
Which I don't often do.
Yep.
And signed by Chris Claremont.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What's the grade?
The grade is a 7.0.
Wow. That's a good
He had
find.
He had a 9, I think it was a 9.4 or 9.2. Same thing. But I was not spending $1,700.
You didn't want to drop the bank?
No.
It's an investment.
No.
It's an investment.
Well, it got me to... Yeah, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. It got me onto a couple of YouTube channels where they talk about key issues and hunting, and now I watch these guys all the time. It's become my life.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad you were able to start the year off right. And speaking of starting the year off right, we're going to talk about the first MCU movie of the year, which is Captain America: Brave New World. Full disclaimer, I unfortunately did not get a chance to go see the movie. So this is really going to be a Dave episode. He's going to run us through the movie, what he liked about it, what he didn't like, potentially getting into spoilers, so just a heads up on that. But let's start at the top there, Dave. Going into it, what were you expecting?
Because of all the outside stuff, and I guess this is one of the reasons why, with the secrecy that's behind Marvel, this is where it works in their not favor.
Okay.
Is nobody knew anything was going on, like as far as the plot or what was going on. However, we did know that they had like 3 or 4 rewrites. They came back and reshot shots 7-8 times. The movie got delayed like 3 times. So like, because you don't know what's going on, you're just assuming that it's just an absolute tire fire.
Yeah.
And so, of course, going in, I was like, I hope they patched this together okay, that I don't come out going, that was awful.
Yeah. We demanding your money back or anything like that, right?
So that was something that I kind of thought about afterwards, and I thought, if MC was a little more transparent with their stuff, and stop trying to do this surprise crap all the time, then maybe people would have went in or been more inclined to go, hey, let's go see the movie, because they weren't just left with the garbage that you heard, which was, oh my god, they had to do this and they cut this person out of the movie and brought these people in, and it was just...
Well, I think that's why probably they were like, we don't want to show too much, is because it's like we don't even know what it's going to look like by the end of it.
Well,
like,
I did read from some insiders saying like initially their plan was to never show the Red Hulk.
Oh, really?
And that was going to be the surprise, but because of all of the negative stuff that they were getting slapped on as well, these rewrites and reshoots and all this delays, is they decided to get people interested, they were going to show him.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to see him. Because typically, I mean, maybe we've seen like you would see in the Thunderbolts, you've seen glimpses and understanding that the Sentry's in it, but you haven't seen a full-on shot of the Sentry.
Even in the Super Bowl trailer, they didn't show it.
No,
which is wild,
so I think you would have seen similar trailers from Captain America if there wouldn't have been such a mess outside of the actual movie itself.
They like you said, they needed something to draw more people in. Interesting. Yeah, I think like again, I haven't seen it yet, but I think for me, like it's definitely my least looking forward to movie this year for Marvel. Like Thunderbolts looks amazing. Even Fantastic Four. I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan, but that first trailer was really good. Thing. So it's one of those things of like Captain America, I was like kind of mid on. I will admit that one trailer where it was like showing the Oval Office and it was like really cut, kind of like it was like a spy thriller.
Yeah.
And it was way more like Winter Soldier-y vibes. I was pretty hyped after that trailer, but I definitely felt my hype definitely fell off as the movie I got closer and closer to the movie. So that's kind of my thoughts going in. And again, I haven't even seen it yet, so it's like it
definitely had a poor man's Winter Soldier vibe to it for sure. But it was I think it patched together or brought in a lot of obscure stuff from the TV series, the movies, that were just kind of like loosely dangling things that have just been dangling for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you're not like I would say like a total MCU aficionado that just pays so much attention to it, you might have gone in and went, okay.
Yeah.
Like, because it wasn't to your point, it wasn't the like leading up to Thanos coming. It wasn't like it just didn't have that to it.
Interesting. Who did you see it with? Your wife or?
Yes.
Okay.
It was my Valentine's.
Oh,
present.
nice. Yes. So she's like my wife, where it's like I'll watch the movies. Yep. I'm not like you and me, where it's like we're looking at every single detail. Let's start with her impression. Did she like it as like not a huge?
She said she thought it was okay.
Okay.
Like she thought it was not by far not the worst. She still thinks that the Marvels was the worst one.
Which again, I haven't even seen the Marvels yet. So there you go.
And I think what did it in for her is like she was kind of enjoying it right up until they went to the planet where they communicate through song and dance, and then she was just like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
So, but she thought it was good. It was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like the part that she can never get over is the Falcon's ability with his wings and stuff to do some of the stuff that he does. And there's a couple instances that she kind of even pointed out, and I was like, yeah, even as a comic book fan, I can't really
it doesn't make any sense.
Explain or justify that. But outside of that, like she said she enjoyed it.
Okay.
But it just wasn't Endgame.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's the hardest part, right?
Wasn't one of those movies.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. Let's start with you. Do you want to like give your general thoughts on it and then get into more specifics, or do you want to just start from the beginning? Here's kind of what happened.
Sure. I think there were, knowing what I knew going in, you could see there were two specific instances where you could see the CGI was very rushed.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
One scene, which was just Sam Wilson talking to the Red Hulk, and the other one I think was in the same combat was it just was off. You could just tell it was CGI, which is, I mean, becoming unfortunately a staple of Marvel in these days is like you're getting these glimpses of stuff that's like, oh, that's definitely CGI.
Yeah.
But I think like for what it was, I think there was a lot of throwbacks to the Falcon Winter Soldier, and as far back as Incredible Hulk.
Oh really? Man, what if
which again like huh? Like a lot of people were surprised by that. I know a lot of people like Mackie as Sam Wilson. I don't.
No?
Well, not that I don't like him. I think they I don't necessarily 100% agree with his portrayal or how he plays off as him. I always see Sam Wilson, like at least within the comic books, he was always like he's very serious. Mm-hmm. He's a very serious guy, and he plays him a little loose, I think. But I mean the action was good. The tie-ins, like bringing in the old Captain America, the one that was first tested, Isaiah Bradley, bringing him in, how that kind of tied into what was going on. I thought Harrison Ford was great.
Really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
If you think about it, like Harrison Ford plays angry really well. Like when he gets when he gets pissed off at people.
Yeah.
He plays angry really well, and I thought he did a really good job for a guy that was like, I never would have thought I would have seen him in an MCU movie.
Yeah.
But
and a guy that's pushing like 80 something.
Yeah. And of course he's coming in to fill in the role for a good friend of his who passed away. So that was I mean, nice of him. Number one, the fact that he reached out himself and said, I'll do this if you want me to. That was great. The Hulk, like the highlight of the whole thing was the Hulk.
Really?
When he finally hulked out and turned into the Red Hulk, because he destroys like the White House. And
that's awesome.
And there's so much destruction everywhere. It's just nuts. Overall, it was like, okay, there's these tiny little pieces that kind of came in, maybe got tied, like kind of finished off or explained, and then they kind of moved forward. But there was just like, there was nothing there. Like when I heard that there was going to be like the Serpent Society, and it was like, I was hyped. I was like, that's great, because that took me back to like some of the heights of Captain America comics when like Mike Zeck was drawing them, and he was dealing with the Serpent Society. That was just like, again, it definitely felt like that was one of those aspects that was one of those add-ins or those rewrites, because it was like, it was there, but there was no substance to it at all. It was just nothing. It was like they were just being, used kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any powers, and they had no, like, he had the Esposito had the codename Sidewinder, but outside of that, you never saw any of the other ones. You never saw any of the code names. There was nothing. So that was unfortunate. A lot of, Captain America flying around and, blowing up missiles with his wings and shit. And that was some of the stuff that even my wife was like, I don't get that. Like she said, I could understand if it was Captain America because he's got the serum, but this guy's just like a regular dude who can apparently take the concussive blast of a missile.
Yeah.
Right?
Which you'll have to remind me, because I don't read Captain America comics that often. Does Sam Wilson in the comics have the serum? Or again, he's just a plain dude?
Just a plain dude.
I never understood that either in the comics.
No. So, really what it all comes down to is the show is all about, again, another tie-in from the Eternals.
Oh, really?
Remember way back when that giant celestial was climbing out of the planet? Yeah. So that thing, whatever's left of it, is now the fight of the world. Everybody's trying to get access to it because of the mineral rights that it has, because it is adamantium.
Oh, interesting.
That's how they're bringing adamantium.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the crux of it, is that they're fighting, or they're trying to create a unified approach to how they're gonna
deal with
this and use it. And of course it breaks out, and then Japan and U.S. and everybody's gonna fight, and it's all because of all the stuff that's going on in the background that you later find out is being coordinated by the leader.
Okay, so yeah, I heard a rumor he was in this, and I wasn't sure if it was true or not.
Same actor.
So. Oh, really?
from The Incredible Hulk.
Wow. Yeah. They've just been sitting on this guy for the last 15 years.
He's just like, this is never going to happen, and then it happened.
Okay.
So he's apparently been imprisoned, sort of, by General Ross, who has been using him.
Oh.
To further his own gains, right? Because he's super smart, can see tons of angles and everything else. So that's what he's doing, and he's also got a health condition with his heart. So he created some medication that he's been taking. Unbeknownst to him, it's been laced with gamma radiation.
Sorry, Ross has the heart condition?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Leader's been creating this medication to help with his heart condition, but he's also laced it with gamma radiation. So he's been slowly feeding him gamma, and there was 2-ish times where one where you could start to feel like he was going to Hulk out, and then he didn't, and then another moment where he was on one of the battleships, and he's down in the dark, and somebody's talking to him, and he won't look at them, and you can see his eyes turning red, and you can see his muscles starting to swell, and he doesn't turn. And then the third time when he finally just goes overboard. And at the end of the day, this entire thing was just an extravagant plot by the leader to get revenge on Ross.
So it had nothing to do with Sam Wilson, Captain America whatsoever.
No. Sam Wilson just happened to get involved because the leader used some kind of hypnotizing thing through a phone, like a message, to turn Isaiah Bradley and 3 or 4 other people in the room into assassins trying to kill Ross. Yeah. So it just it just didn't. It was just oh, okay, for a mystery or whatever they were trying to go for, it was, like I said, it felt like that poor man's
Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
because Winter Soldier had the bait and switch of they're trying to hunt down like people smuggling alien technology, and then it turned out Hydra was running S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was like the big twist of that movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that one.
Yeah, which is one of the best movies of all time. Yeah. But and that's the big. So I guess it's pretty similar to this of we're focused on this new alien technology or metal or whatever. Bait and switch is actually a Hulk movie, So which is
so.
Super
I mean, it was nice that you got to see a lot of Falcon. So the new Falcon.
Yeah.
It was so there was a lot of them together. There was some funny conversations. Of course, Winter Soldier makes an appearance.
Oh, does he? Good.
Who's now apparently a congressman.
Fucking way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Man, they'll put
congressman or a senator or something like that.
Speaking of gerontocracy, Yeah.
So, anyways, they just there were little spots at the end of the day, I enjoyed the movie, but I think I was a bit tainted going in because I was I know this was a shit show to put together.
Yeah.
I thought the Hulk stuff was great, other than the fact that they're big scrap, he's just destroying everything. Like, how the hell can Captain America, a non-powered Captain America, take on him? And like at one point, even I believe he rips off one of his wings, like just rips it off.
So like half his power.
Yeah. So, but he basically causes the vibranium to release, and it causes a giant explosion. That again, my wife was like, "How does a human survive that?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. Hulk just gets up from it.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, and then he's like, "Let me try another angle," and it ended almost identical to Falcon Winter Soldier.
Oh.
With Captain America giving a speech.
Oh no.
About, hey, don't you remember your daughter and you're a good man?
Yeah.
And then he calms down and turns into Ross.
Oh, I heard, was Liv Tyler in the movie?
Yeah, she was.
Good. I'm glad Liv Tyler was back.
Yeah. They were getting all kinds of throwbacks in this.
Yeah. Okay, bunch of questions. I will admit, I am glad they finally addressed the Celestial coming out of the planet.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like what happened was, when they originally released Eternals, you could tell that was probably their plan to be the big thing. But then, because Eternals did mid during COVID, they were like, you know what, let's not talk about it. It's like, how can you not talk about the Celestial coming out of the Earth?
The Eternals could have been solved very easily, because what they did is they created a movie, you went in, and it's like they filmed it or treated it as if, like, you knew who they were.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's where it failed, because the movie itself, like, I've gone back and I've watched it again, and I'm like, the movie's not as far as the movie itself, it's not the worst Marvel movie.
No.
It's just, there's no context to what's going on or who these people are, and they're trying to explain it at the same time the story's going on, and it just didn't land well.
Yeah.
At all.
That one might have been better as a TV show, type of thing. Give them more time to develop their characters and stuff like that. But the fact that there was this giant Celestial bursting out of the Earth and like nobody addressed it for years is insane to me. So I'm glad they finally brought it back. But it is really funny that it just turned into a MacGuffin of, one, bringing adamantium, two, it's just a reason to fight or whatever.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the whole fact that this is supposed to be Captain America, Sam Wilson's big I'm now Captain America, blah 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 blah, and it's just a Hulk sequel? Because like me that sounds very disappointing.
Yeah. To me, it felt like it didn't. I don't even know if it was a Hulk sequel. It was like it was an MCU movie that just happened to have the Hulk in it, and Captain America happened to be caught up in it.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though. It's like the main villain's the leader, which is a Hulk villain.
Yeah.
It references... It sounds like, from what you've explained, most of the plot references back to something that happened in 2008.
Yeah.
And then, like, Captain America just got wrapped up in it because of reasons, type of thing. And again, like, to me, that sounds like a Hulk movie that, like, without the Hulk with the Captain America instead.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? It makes no sense to me.
It was, like, they could have... Like, if they would have just stuck with the Serpent Society, even if they were going to have a cameo by the Red Hulk, sure, whatever. Yeah. But if they would have just stuck with it being a Captain America movie and had the Serpent Society coming in and doing something. Yeah. And they could have very much made that, like, a... military intrigue, espionage kind of a thing, and that's not what it was.
Well, I feel like what you could have done with it was have the Serpent Society working with the leader, like, to infiltrate the American government,
like,
right?
Literally, at one point, it's like okay, something happens. Obviously the president is almost assassinated, and then, this is how Captain America gets involved. Isaiah Bradley tried to kill me. He's going to jail. Something happened because there were other people that were also trying to kill you. Really weird. No, going to jail. It's probably going to face the death penalty.
Holy shit.
Or whatever. It's so horrible. But you, Captain America, you're too close to this. Stay out of it. No. That's how he got involved.
Yeah.
Like he just decided, no, I'm not going to listen to the president of the United States. I'm just gonna do my thing.
That's so funny.
It just wasn't centered enough around.
Yeah.
Captain America, and I would even say Captain America's rogue gallery.
Well, that's the hard part too, right? In the sense of, like, at least Steve Rogers as Captain America has a pretty long history of, like, different villains he's dealt with. But the problem with the MCU is that because he got involved with so many other storylines, he never really talked about Captain America's specific, other than Winter Soldier. and it feels like that's the issue with this Steve Wilson, not Steve Wilson. But Sam Wilson, thank you. Yep. Issue of it is like, what is his rogues gallery? It's technically just like whatever Captain America's.
Well, he just adopted Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things of like, but again, I feel like they probably did, like you're saying, they patchwork this. I wonder if they did film a movie where it was just the Serpent Society and they realized how boring it was. And
well, apparently there were two actors. One of them being he was a
Kevin Owens.
WWE.
Or not Kevin Owens.
He was Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins
was supposed to be one of the Serpent Society, and then there was another, which I saw a still of a female actor who was supposed to be playing Diamondback.
Okay.
Neither one of them were in the movie. All of that stuff got cut out. So it just, at the end of the day, it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't, like, as far as like if you were trying to build up Sam Wilson or if you were trying to build up Captain America, you didn't do anything for it. Because nothing really, it just happened to be, to your point, like maybe it was a mini series about the Hulk that Captain America happened to be in.
Yeah, like that makes sense to me as a comic book.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense of like, I could easily see a Sam Wilson comic book where it's like, oh, Red Hulk's causing problems. I'm in the neighborhood, I'll go deal with it. It just so happens, whatever, I get involved. That doesn't sound like a good movie to me in the sense of like, if he's the title character.
And I'm probably being a lot more negative than I should. Okay. Like, it was still, like, I watched it, it was entertaining. It was, like, there were some good action sequences. Some areas where there was some very good CGI.
I don't think you're being too negative. I think what's happening is, as someone who hasn't seen the movie and hearing you explain it, to me it makes no sense whatsoever. No. And maybe when you watch it, it makes a little bit more sense. Like, okay.
Yeah, it would definitely make a little more sense, but again, it's just like, if this movie didn't happen, I don't think it would have made a difference.
But like again, another example of this is in Thunderbolts. You have Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who everybody knows is going to be part, like is Lady Hydra or whatever. Yeah. So it's like, why did you not link that up? Like, I don't understand why they had to like do this whole separate thing of Red Hulk and Leader and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it, I think, has to do with the fact that the movie was greenlit shortly after they were riding the high of Endgame. Then they went into the Disney era. Falcon Winter Soldier did really well, but I think they misinterpreted the numbers as like, oh my god, this did really well, versus, oh, this is a new streaming service and this is just a show, and everybody's kind of, they rode that wave and it got announced and greenlit at that point. And I think as the years went on and as things got ugly, I mean, with just plots going all over the place, Kang being replaced, like all this stuff that's been going on, it's just been a mess. And then they had to delay and delay and delay, till eventually they put something out that really was just, like, I would say for a movie that was patchwork together as much as it was, it actually wasn't. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to just be an absolute mess.
You're expecting the Marvels,
worse. It was just, I was expecting the worst, and like, it wasn't bad. It's just, it wasn't great. It wasn't even, I would say, it wasn't even good. It was like average.
So where do you rank it in the Captain America movies? So you had First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War. Last. Okay, so it's worse than First Avengers, you think?
Yeah, I would say, because I mean, the bump I give for First Avengers is the fact that it was the first Captain America movie,
and it was pretty good,
and it had Red Skull in it, like, who's the the classic Captain America villain. So
honestly, rewatching First Avenger, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like, it's not bad.
It's pretty good. So I guess, going back to Brave New World for a second there. So what's the results of this movie? So obviously, like,
nothing.
so there's adamantium in the world. The whole world's fighting over it. It's revealed the president of the United States is Red Hulk. I'm assuming it's like it happens on camera or something like that. So basically, at
the end, the Red Hulk goes away. He's in jail now.
Okay,
he's in the raft.
He's in jail.
Yeah, he's in the raft.
Okay. For what? Blowing up the White House? I mean, he's technically mind controlled, right? By a leader.
So, well, he wasn't mind controlled. He was just fed gamma. Till he friggin' lost his mind.
Yep.
So he's in jail. The agreement goes off, so everybody's at peace with how they're going to handle the adamantium. So that's not really causing a conflict or anything else down the road.
Okay.
And then they, of course, the leader actually at one point just turns himself in.
What?
Yeah, he's just like,
hey, I'm the leader.
Come and get me. And he just turns himself in because he's got his revenge or whatever he's doing. And they put him in the raft, and then of course the after credit scene is Sam Wilson going in to say like, I told you that I would beat you,
yep.
that you were lost. And he's like, oh well, he's like, do you want to know what's funny? And he's like, well, you killed a bunch of good men, and we don't have the same sense of humor. And he's like, you and your little friends, you guys protect the world. Do you think you're the only ones? Do you think you're the only world?
Sorry, the leader's saying this?
Yeah,
or Ross
the leader is saying this.
Oh.
The leader is saying this. So the leader, in his infinite, like, being able to see a lot of things, is seeing the multiverse.
Interesting.
Somehow.
I mean, it's a scientific theory that he might have expanded on, right? So
he seemed to know a lot more than what he should. But because he's like, I'm curious to see how you deal with the others.
Oh, interesting.
What others do you know about already?
Mm-hmm.
Like it seemed like, dun dun dun, here's that thing that you already knew about. Like it was just there was nothing there. Like the after credit scenes leading into the Avengers, like Endgame, and the Infinity War was like, oh my god, like they just dropped something, right?
Thanos.
Some of them were less than others, but a lot of it was like, and this was just like, hey, we're gonna tell you about that thing you already know about. So it's just kind of like, okay,
yeah.
Like it was a nothing burger.
Yeah. What happened to Giancarlo Esposito? What happened to his character?
He just got beat up and put in jail.
So they were all in jail.
They're all in jail.
Nothing. So nothing really significant happened.
Nothing significant.
It was just a fight.
Except they've introduced the Red Hulk,
kinda. Which do you think he's gonna come back in the future?
I don't know. Harrison Ford's got a shelf life at this point.
Exactly, right? And like older. He said he was gonna do it for his friend, and then it's like, who knows how long he's gonna be doing. Maybe he'll will he even meet freaking Green Hulk? Like what?
Probably not.
Like what the hell? Like
probably not.
What's going on? So what? Okay, so you're saying you're a little bit more positive than I'm making it out to be. Like, it wasn't that bad. Are you saying, like, it's worth in the theater, or are you saying, like, wait till it's streaming?
I think it was, you can certainly wait for it to get it home. I like watching these kinds of movies on the big screen, because...
It's an event.
It's nostalgic for me. I like the movies.
Yeah.
Could you wait for it to be at home? Yeah. I can't sell going to the movies on this with a straight face.
Okay. Like maybe a cheap night is what you're saying.
Yes.
Like go on cheap night, you'll still have a good time.
Go see it, and just enjoy it for what it is. It's just it's action. There's a lot of action. There's a Red Hulk. He smashes a lot of shit.
Did you get the Hulk popcorn bucket or whatever?
No.
Or the Captain America shield popcorn button?
Didn't get any of that.
Oh no. So that's kind of Brave New World in a nutshell. I'll watch it eventually and I'll let you know what I think about it. But how does this make you feel about...
This is the only pitch I could have. Is if you've watched Marvels, you might as well watch this.
Which I haven't even watched Marvels yet, so there you go. So does this movie make you go like, okay, that was a bit of a mess, but they're fixing things going forward?
Yeah, it didn't end off with something that was just like, oh my god, now they've got this horrible other thing to deal with. Yeah. It felt like they kind of closed off a whole bunch of little...
It was a kind of cleanup.
Little things. Now, some of the rumors that I'd heard about what they did cut, like I said, more action from the Serpent Society. There was also going to be some references to Isaiah Bradley's grandson,
Patriot,
who becomes Patriot. So there was going to be like a little bit of a teaser there, and all of that kind of stuff got cut out.
Really?
Yeah. So so it's like it could like I'm curious to know what the other story was.
Yep.
Like what they were doing. They even changed the title of the movie. The movie was initially Captain America: New World Order, and now it's Brave New World.
Yeah, and
that all came from again just testing it out there, and people were like, "Yeah, we don't like the idea of a New World Order. That's just a bad title." So they changed that, and it just seemed like there was just one thing after another of tripping over their own feet.
I'm so sad because I feel like they were really building up a really good Young Avengers / Champions movie, TV series, something.
Yeah.
And then they're just kiboshing it. And it's like there was so much, but like even Agatha all along had Billy. You had Miss Marvel, and you had Hawkeye Girl.
Yeah.
Like there's so many of these young heroes that they're building up, and it feels like they're just letting them go.
Yeah, they could have. Like there's your Marvel's teeny bopper show right there. Like if that's what you wanted to do, still you probably get Marvel people like myself watching, even though I'm not a huge fan of teeny bopper stuff. but it could have been that. But it's I just.
That's disappointing. But like you said, hopefully Thunderbolt sounds like it's a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah.
Which apparently has Winter Soldier as a congressman, which I did not see coming.
Yeah, he is a congressman.
What? Who voted for this guy?
Or something. Yeah,
that's so funny.
I don't know.
And then you have First Steps, Fantastic Four First Steps, which looks like, again, I'm not a big FF guy, but it looks pretty good. Like between that and Marvel Rivals, I'm slowly becoming an FF guy, type of thing. So
I'm curious to see the Fantastic Four movie. I think the Thunderbolts is just going to be at the very least, fun.
Yes, and that's what I want.
Yeah, Fantastic Four, just because we just really haven't seen a lot of it, like I don't know what it is, but there's tons of people that have like ripped the trailer apart and showed you stuff, and like everybody thinks that Sue Storm's pregnant in the show with
oh man, no. Franklin Richards.
Jeez,
there
thank
you
go. With Franklin Richards, this is just how hyped we are about Fantastic Four. With Franklin Richards, there's obviously the Galactus thing, but it's like that can't be the only. Like there's gotta be some other fights. Is John Malkovich playing the Red Ghost, or is he playing something else? Is it like, because there's now also other people saying like maybe he's not the Red Ghost, maybe he's a futurized older version of Franklin Richards.
Oh yeah.
Right, and it's just like there's all this stuff going on. You really haven't seen any shots of the Silver Surfer or the female one. I forget her name.
I think it's just Silver Surfer, but I don't remember her name.
Yeah. Well, she has a specific name, but it's just like we don't really know much about it as far as like where's the action, because it's a comic book movie. Where's the action?
Well, they barely even showed Human Torch in the trailer.
Exactly.
Like, it was really and then even showed Mr. Fantastic Powers, which I thought was hilarious. They're like, we know this is gonna be weird, so
Yeah, so it's we'll see what.
I have theories.
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of that. A lot of the theories that I've heard were Galactus is drawn to the power of Franklin Richards, and that's why he's there. This is obviously they're gonna jump dimensions or whatever to get over to the other world, so that's where the Fantastic Four from.
Yeah,
but it's like right now it's a big mystery burger because nobody really knows.
Yeah, but would you say you're like, what's your positivity on the MCU now going in the next couple of years? Because we have a lot of stuff planned.
I'm still on the fence.
Still on the fence?
Yeah, okay. I'm still on the fence until they Brave New World was like, okay, so congratulations, you can have a lot of things go wrong. I mean, you also got to remember the writer's strike was in there. That there was a lot of
they probably started before COVID.
Pandemic. There was a lot of stuff that went wrong outside of just say poor writing or acting or all that other stuff. That if you take all of that into consideration and then go see the movie, you're like, actually that knowing what I know about what really hamstrung this. Wasn't that bad.
Okay, that makes me more interested to go see it for sure. So that's Dave's review of Brave New World. Thank you so much, Dave, for taking care of that for us. Like I said, my apologies for not seeing it myself, but no, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. And I'm super hyped for Thunderbolts, so we're gonna do an episode on Thunderbolts, type of thing. So, but of course we would be remiss not to continue this episode with the talk about the Ultimate Universe from Marvel, only because we're obsessed with this.
Yeah.
We can't stop. Every podcast episode, we have to check in and see where we're at.
Yeah.
So the only downside is, like I've mentioned multiple times in past episodes, because I'm reading on Marvel Unlimited, I'm a few issues behind.
Yeah.
But the last couple issues I've read were insane. Like the Ultimates, I thought the beginning of the Ultimates was a little bit slow. They had a couple good issues, but it was okay, hit miss, and it's a little bit slow. But then I read the issue where they go to fight Ultimate Hulk. Fucking insane.
I wouldn't call that a fight.
No, it was not a fight. It was just shellacking. Honestly,
it's so bad.
And it was just really crazy. And the fact that they went there with some of the things that happened with it, I was not expecting that at all. And I was like, wow, where the hell is this going? Because again, the big bad is eventually the Maker's going to come back, but they can't even beat Hulk. So what the fuck are they going to do? Type of thing. Where are you on Ultimates?
Ultimates, a couple issues ahead, where the Guardians of the Galaxy show up, who are vastly different than the Guardians of the Galaxy that you're used to.
Interesting.
And they're not the Guardians of the Galaxy in the sense of space travel.
Okay, it's more multiple dimension maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was again interesting. They keep building up towards whatever it is they're going to end up building up towards. I honestly thought that they were going to use some kind of like, they were going to use that time device to kind of rewind to stop themselves from going to fight the Hulk, so that so that Iron Lad didn't. And it's like, no, they just kept trucking, and Iron Lad is just in a like an iron lung, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but it's just like the whole team is just a wreck.
That's crazy.
Like, and that's what I think I like about the Ultimate Universe is they've done what you would expect from, you know, when they do a mini series and they really shake things up and like, oh, this is the Ultimate Universe of like, what if Peter Parker kept the symbiote, you know?
Yeah.
And they just really go for it. Like really, really, you know, reach out for it.
Denise Camp, I guess, is the writer.
Yeah.
Denise Camp.
Yeah. Now I've heard some people smash on it. They really hate it. Well, I mean, it's probably the same people that are, you know, complaining about, you know, woke stuff. And whatnot.
Yeah, okay.
Like, yeah. I think the slow introduction of a lot of the characters was great. It's you can even see some differences in attitudes of the characters. Like, they're not quite like Captain America's not.
No, he's a little bit.
He's not even like the ultimate Captain America.
No.
He's a little different. What I like about it is they said, if we're gonna do this and it's gonna be a different world, we really have to take some shots and shake this up, and I think that's what they've done. You know, Spider-Man, same thing. Like, I know you haven't gotten to issue 12 yet, and I'm
so excited to check it out.
Dying to tell. Yeah. And then I went and read 13, and I'm like, oh my god,
really?
Like this is just so weird.
So good. Really quick before I'll quickly briefly talk about Ultimate X-Men. The only thing I can say about it is what the fuck is going on. Like, I can see there's something cooking here, but it's so different. And if it wasn't X-Men, like if it was just its own little thing, it'd be really fascinating. But because you're just expecting them to explain more of how it involves in the Ultimate Universe, it's like, I don't understand what's going on. Yeah. And maybe eventually it'll reveal more. I just think it's too slow of a burn to really get there. And like, when something does happen, I'm always just like, did it happen? I don't know. Like, it's kind of confusing.
It's been like the Spider-Man's been good. I have not touched the X-Men just because I just couldn't get my head wrapped around it. And I've heard a lot of people that say, like, if you're reading this to read an X-Men comic, you're
not gonna get.
You're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So I steered clear of it. I did pick up Black Panther.
Yes.
Started reading that.
Tell me what you think.
I've caught that up. I think initially, like, yes, like I think you had said, like, I don't see a lot of difference between. As it's moved on, I do see some more differences.
Okay.
For instance, like, I do like the Storm Killmonger combination.
I like that.
That was kind of cool. The fact that I have this deep-seated feeling that either his wife, the Queen, Okoye, or his sister, Shuri, are a traitor.
Yes, I can feel that too.
One of them.
Yeah.
That's it might be something completely different.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's one of them. They haven't unveiled that, and now that they've unveiled this, like, there's more to vibranium than just vibranium being like a really cool metal you can do some cool stuff with. That it's got like almost like a consciousness to itself kind of thing, and now he can like control vibranium to a degree. Like, there's some differences that are coming out. They're just not as, I think, slap bang in your face as like some of the other titles have done. So it's been a slow burn. The Sorcerer Supreme, that was a choice.
Okay, I still haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, that was a choice. Yeah. I was disappointed with the fight with Moon Knight because it was like literally one kick, and that was it, and it was over. So it's like that was a little disappointing, but I don't think, like, again, I think a lot of this stuff is like just leading into like we're making you think this is done, but it's not done. Something's coming.
Like, I think, again,
it's just not as drastically different as the other.
And I think that's my biggest issue is, like, if this had just been a regular mainline Black Panther, like, there was suddenly a realization that vibranium has more of a consciousness, and there was an evil, organization trying to take over. Again, that's what they did in Ta-Nehisi Coates' run. Was they were mind controlling people to go fight Wakanda. Like literally the exact same thing happened. Mm-hmm. So it just blows my mind that like they didn't do something different. Like they could have made him just a regular citizen who has to take on the Black Panther identity. I feel like that would have been way more interesting than he's the king again. Yeah. And it's that balance of being a king versus being a superhero. And it's like we've seen this a million times. Like I just don't understand why they didn't do, and especially with you have the Maestro's world of Ultimate Universe, you could have had it been like, I made sure that the his royal family wasn't in charge, somebody else's royal family was in charge. And I feel like that would have been a way more interesting alternate reality version of Black Panther.
Yeah, similar to what they did with Bruce Banner in the Absolute Batman, where he's poor. He's not rich, and I believe, if I remember correctly, he actually makes a comment like a ha-ha comment about like, oh my god, this would be so much easier if I was rich.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Right? Yeah.
So there was a drastic change there. Yeah, I would agree with that. There's not enough of a drastic change. I really like the art. Mm-hmm. I like, outside of the story not being drastically changed enough, I don't mind the writing. The writing's been good. The two artists that have been on there have been very solid, especially Cassili, and hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But I also think I was looking for an excuse to get into Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like into a Black Panther comic, because the more I've seen him in Avengers, the main universe Avengers, the more I've seen him in that. Of course, the movies had an influence. I always liked them previously. There were little snippets where they would bring him into the Avengers or bring him into whatever, that I always were like, I really like this character, but I just never got into the comic book. And I've just discovered I really like this character. Like, I really think it's a good character that Marvel has just shit the bed on making a mainstay.
Did you? I think we have talked about this, but did you ever read? What's his name? The writer that read Al Ewing. Al Ewing's Ultimates run. Because when the Ultimates were in the 616 universe, I actually thought that was a great rendition of Black Panther as well.
Yeah.
Like him bouncing off of Spectrum and Blue Marvel and stuff like that. That was a really good run on him as well. But that's my biggest issue with Black Panther. Again, maybe you're right. Maybe it'll eventually get somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a slow burn than everything else that I've seen so far. But I would say like the reveal that they did at issue 12 of Ultimate Spider-Man was like one of those like, whoa, moments. And then same thing with some of the other ones. Like, I'm waiting for issue 12, like everybody hit that 12 mark.
Yep.
Black Panther hit the 12 mark, but it was nothing. There wasn't really much there. Mm-hmm. Now, again, I'm not a huge Black Panther previous reader, so I don't know if I'm reading this and I'm just missing a whole bunch of shit that's different. But it does feel like a lot more of a slow burn.
Yep.
But again, what it has done for me is it's really cultivated this love of Black Panther. I think he's a fantastic character.
Which is awesome. I'm glad for that. Really quick on Ultimate Spider-Man, like we keep saying, one of the best books out there right now. I still haven't read issue 12.
I so badly want to have this conversation with you. And then I want to have a further conversation with you about issue 13.
Well, I should just borrow your issues and just get it done with. But really quick, the issue 11 I read was the issue where Uncle Ben reveals that he knows he's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? I feel like it's a very modern trend of way more people knowing every superhero's secret identity. Like, I feel like it's just because I feel like
I dislike it.
You dislike it. Okay, what's
I dislike it because like if you go back and say sticking with Spider-Man, because it's the one that I'm most familiar with, all of the trouble it caused him trying to keep it secret made like you could relate to him as a person trying to struggle with this. On the flip side, I can also see like, okay, what's the possibility that for you got to remember the comic's been around for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's only like 30.
Yeah.
But like that the character that people wouldn't figure it out.
That's my thing.
So
right?
like there's a balance there of like I do think the not knowing or not sharing presents a lot more fun in him trying to hide it and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like after that's been going on long enough, wouldn't people around him, specifically like his Aunt May, for instance, in the regular Spider-Man, have figured it out by now.
Yeah.
He's always late. He's always just this. Oh, and then anytime any trouble breaks out, he disappears and the other one comes like. It's just
and the villains are constantly going for you, Aunt May.
It's the same thing with Superman. Nobody at some point like Clark hasn't taken his glasses off to clean them, and they've gone like, what?
Yeah.
You know, it's gone on too long.
Yeah. I'm in the camp of, I think obviously it's character by character basis. Like, it makes sense to me, like, your immediate family and loved ones should know. Because either you tell them eventually, either you tell them straight up because it's like somebody has to know, or two, they figured out relatively quickly. It just makes more sense with me. I agree. You don't want to then spread it out. Like, there's obviously the argument of like, oh, should superheroes be like government agents or something like that, and it kind of goes from there. But like, for example, Invincible season 3, there's a mini storyline. So it really isn't a spoiler, but like, Mark's mom tells her new boyfriend randomly, and Mark's just like, what the fuck, lady? Like, you're telling just this random guy you made out with? Like, what do you mean? Like I don't know who the fuck this guy is. And it's just funny because it's just like yeah, I can agree, like, your mom and your girlfriend or boyfriend should know. Because again, if you're gone all the time, they're gonna figure it out. And like even Harry Osborn has.
He come back with the bruises.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what happened when I fell down the stairs?
Well, Harry Osborn in Ultimate Spider-Man is like, dude, I told my wife like day one. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, like I agree with that. I think definitely like going beyond that is when it gets a little bit more murky, and like you try your best to hide it a little bit.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think one of the more classic moments I can think of was a Daredevil comic. I want to say it was issue 221, 227, somewhere in there. It was Frank Miller. It was just entitled Apocalypse on there, and it's when the Kingpin figures out and finds out that Matt Murdock is Daredevil.
Yeah.
And just those moments do allow for some really great storytelling. But like when it happens, when that happens, but in that, it's like eventually somebody's gonna find out if they really want to find out.
Yeah.
And the people closest to your point,
how do you not figure it out?
Yeah, how do you not put that together? So it's just, I'm in both camps of like, it's a good story mechanism with the right individuals. Like not everybody should know, but I think the family members, like, yeah, keep it a secret from them for a while if that's the writer's choice. But you have to admit at some point they're going to figure it out, which also creates a good story. Like, why didn't you tell me?
well, like the argument you hear from the hero all the time is like, oh, I didn't want to endanger you. It's like, no, them not knowing endangers them, because then when the supervillain comes in and is like trying to kill them, like,
why would the Green Goblin ever come and get me?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would that, it doesn't make any sense.
Them knowing makes way more sense, because then they can be like, okay, at least I can defend myself.
And here's the thing: is after that happens, and then they still don't know.
Yeah.
Like, well, come on.
Okay.
Like, I give up.
Okay.
Ultimate though.
Okay. Ultimate.
The Ultimate Year 1.
Yeah.
Single issue.
Okay.
It's got Nick Fury on it. It's
Nice.
about Nick Fury.
Oh, cool.
Is freaking crazy. Is freaking crazy.
What's
I did
it
not
about?
see it coming. So he leads he leads a group of people just like S.H.I.E.L.D., but it's not S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
It's I want to call it. I want to say it was called Hand.
Okay. Weird.
And because he's basically the hand of the Maker.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, like not like the Hand is in like the ninja organization type of thing. Oh, okay.
No, it's S.H.I.E.L.D. They're just called like I'm pretty sure it's the Hand, but they're basically they are a stealth organization just like S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything else. But what they do is they eliminate threats to the Maker.
That's cool.
Like people that challenge the Maker or challenge the organization. And like it starts right off with them flying over and somebody makes a comment at a barbecue and they shoot this like basically fire off a lightning bolt down on top of this guy and fry him right in front of his family. Yeah. And it's just like, what? Right? And then you're like, as the comic goes on, you start to discover that Nick Fury, conscious, is he's like, I hate this. I've got to find a way. And it's like the whole issue, he's like plotting, how am I gonna
get out of
flip this? Yeah. And so he's going through all the motions, and then finally he does. He's like, and it doesn't work.
Oh.
And the other groups, like I think the Sunfire's there, like the other rulers of this Ultimate Universe are there, and they kill him. And you're like, oh, that's a sad story for Nick Fury. No, and then it gets worse. Because they're like, oh wow, yeah, that only took, whatever it was, 27 days this time. And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, he seemed to pick up on it a lot quicker. And they're having this conversation. They're like, well, we're not really sure why the Maker keeps this going on. And then you realize what they're doing is they just keep reawakening Nick Fury clones.
No.
So he just keeps having to relive this over and over and over again. And he keeps trying to rebel.
Yeah.
And then they kill him. And they know he's going to rebel.
Yeah.
And then they just wake up the next clone.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was. I was just like, what? This is such a horrible existence.
Really? So really what it is just the Maker just hates Nick Fury, kind of like how he hates Reed Richards.
Possibly.
And just like, this is my best way to torture him.
Yeah, it was such a good issue. Like, just a solo
I'll check it
issue.
I'll check it out.
And then Ultimate Wolverine.
Yeah, tell me about Ultimate Wolverine. I'm excited.
Oh, boy. Like,
good old boy or concerned old boy?
Well, so he's basically effectively the Winter Soldier.
Okay, which is dope as fuck.
Yeah. Who operates on behalf of Colossus, his sister.
Yep.
Whatever rendition. I don't even know exactly who she is because, like, in the sense of like which persona.
Okay.
She is. So I just leave it at Illyana.
Yep.
And then of course Omega Red.
Omega Red.
Oh, yeah, they're all a thing.
Just ruling Russia.
Yeah, where all the mutants are.
Oh, interesting.
So all the mutants are apparently just got all jam packed into like Russia, Asia.
Other than Japan, I guess. But
yeah, other than Japan because it doesn't make any sense because of the. But anyways.
Yep.
Yeah, they capture Wolverine, they brainwash him, and then they just send him out to kill everybody. And in the first issue, he goes in to a resistance, and there are some main characters from the Marvel Universe that he just straight up murders.
Really? Hell yeah, dude.
And that's what he does. He is just, it is by far the most brutal Wolverine comic I've seen because he's literally just a mindless killer.
That's sick.
That's all he is.
That's sick.
So 2 issues, it's just been him murdering people.
So what do you think, like, how quickly do you think they're going to try to get him to break out of that? Because he can't do that for forever of him just mindlessly.
Yeah, I don't know. 2 issues, there's been no sniff.
Interesting. That's
other
crazy.
than the fact that they're really worried that the mind control is not going to control him in the sense of, like, because he's such a berserker nutcase. Outside of that, yeah. And it wasn't, like, with that, it shows, like, the Maker killed the guy, like, from the main universe, killed the guy that created the Weapon X program.
Yep.
So in this particular case, I'm under the impression that it's
permanent until
Department X and or whatever the hell they're calling themselves, this Russian conglomerate, these oligarchs are the ones that have created Wolverine. They capture it's so brutal though. Like it's just absolute mayhem.
How is Colossus and Illyana? Illyana I can see as a villain. How is Colossus that big of a douche?
Oh yeah, like at one point he's like open the cage and he's like I don't advise that. Like is it like I don't advise that. He's like no you don't understand. Beasts like this only understand one thing, that they need to be underfoot, and he just beats the shit out of Wolverine. And then leaves.
Jeez.
It's like, oh my god.
Holy shit.
Like he has to learn that he's underfoot.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this is going to go wrong somehow.
Yeah.
And whether it's like the doctor that they're working with that helps him free himself or he just starts to remember, I don't know.
Well, I wonder if eventually with Ultimate X-Men and Ultimate Wolverine, they'll show like more mutants trying to break free and potentially, and maybe that'll be like they'll free Wolverine to who he can have his revenge against Colossus maybe, and that'll be how they do it.
And he had his Captain America Winter Soldier moment too.
Oh, did he?
In the plane, yeah. They're in a plane and the guys that are with him are just like, oh my god, this guy's really creepy. and then the buzzer goes off and they're jumping and he's like, wait a minute, he doesn't have a parachute, and he just jumps out of the plane without a parachute.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and there's only 2 issues in, so I hope it
where's it going?
I hope it gets better, but it's just it's a lot of violence. Yeah. And that first issue, I was just gobsmacked by the people that he kills. Like
that's
it's just,
awesome.
Yeah.
Chris Condon is the writer, but Alessandro Capuccio, he's got some good. How's the costume? The costume's pretty rad. So cool. Yeah. Capuccio's got some good art, man. But yeah, no, I think overall we're still super hyped on Ultimate Universe, even if there's some speed bumps. The good outweighs the mediocre.
It's enough. Like what I appreciate is it's enough of a change that I didn't see in the previous Marvel Universe or Ultimate Universe rendition. Like there were some changes. But this was I think this is the difference. Is the changes I saw in the Ultimate Universe rendition the first time around. I didn't like the Green Goblin. Like I didn't like that he was like this mindless Hulk that generated things, and like they had some hit and misses with the changes they did do, but it wasn't enough of a change. Right? X-Men was the same thing. It was like, oh, here's the thing, it's slightly different, not quite. And then when they got to, I want to say later, like towards issue 100, it was somewhere between 75 and 100. As they started getting up there, all of a sudden they started making these wide sweeping changes to try to really ramp it up, but just failed miserably.
And it was too late at that point.
Yeah, it was just, they were so bad. Like the Sinister Apocalypse thing was just like so dumb.
Yeah, although I did like what they did with the mutant growth hormone and stuff like that. But again, that's so later in Ultimate X-Men in the original run that it's just like you could have done this, books ago.
And that's where I like where they're, at least with this one, outside of the Black Panther, they're really taking a
swing,
like a left turn with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Which has been exciting. It's been refreshing.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, and we still haven't gotten Absolute DC
and
yet.
That's why I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. The second we read that, we're gonna do a whole episode.
I don't think I've read a Wonder Woman comic in my life, and I'm looking forward to reading this one just because of all the hype everybody keeps talking about.
That's awesome.
And making Superman interesting and fun. That's great.
Impossible.
And his suit looks fantastic. Like the art form looks great. Like the one I'm least interested in reading, but I'm still interested in reading, is Batman.
Which is fascinating because it's Batman, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but I'm like, it's the least one, but I still want to read it because I'm very curious to see what they're doing.
In your top 3 of wanting to read it, it's third, but it's still up there,
and I'm curious to see where they expand that. Like, I mean, if it continues to roll and continues to go, I'd be very curious to see like Absolute Green Lantern or Absolute Flash.
Yeah.
It'd be very interesting.
It'd be really cool. So those are our, again, updates on the Ultimate Universe. And again, we'll eventually get into the Absolute Universe. Still waiting on that. Any final thoughts, Dave, about anything?
No, like I said, if you enjoy movie theaters, going to see the movie, go see Captain America. It was entertaining.
Okay.
At the very least. And if you haven't started reading Ultimate anything, I would say definitely pick up Spider-Man. Wolverine would honestly be my second choice.
Oh, really?
So far, because it's just like, I don't know, maybe I just like violence. It's just really gritty.
Yeah.
But it's just it's a very interesting time for the Ultimate Universe.
For sure. But no, thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure to follow us wherever you find the podcast, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.